The Voice.
This is Westside, Old to New School, Hip Hop and R&B in London on 89.6 FM and worldwide on thisiswestside.com. You're currently tuned into The Voice with Shania. Today we're joined with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Hetty. I'm from London 360.
Excellent. And today, I feel like you should, you're the founder of this topic, so I feel like you should introduce today's topic.
Okay, well, today's feature is all about Hip Hop and Shakespeare. So I got the idea from rappers and their lyrical content, and if they can be deemed as intellectual and intelligent. And I got a lot of the ideas from Akala, UK rapper, because he has the Hip Hop Shakespeare company, which is all about exploring hip hop.
That sounds mad.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I don't want to give away too much because we have like a nice long feature coming up. Like it's going to be, I feel there's going to be a lot of questions, like deep questions, like to do with like everything, to the music, the lyrics, school, everything. So we don't want to give away too much here.
No.
So make sure you keep it locked. We also want to hear a lot of what you have to say. So do you think that hip hop and Shakespeare is linked? Do you think that Shakespeare is still relevant? Do you think that hip hop and Shakespeare can be connected? If you have any opinions or thoughts, let us know at Westside FM.
The Voice.
The topic today is hip hop and Shakespeare as part of the hip hop life lessons. Okay, so we started off talking about poetry. And like, is rap poetry? Do you wanna say what you're saying?
So we were talking about, like you said, poetry, and I was just bringing out that argument that every rap, really, or most raps are poetry.
Yeah.
But it's just what they do with it. So, for example, you'd have artists such as Rick Ross.
Yeah.
You're talking about money. It's still poetry. If you look at his lyrics and you'll see the rhyming and you'll see the metaphors and the imagery that he uses. I mean, he might not use it to send a positive message, but
it's still poetry nonetheless.
It is. You know, are rappers today, lyrically intelligent?
Right, that question, right. Okay, we're going to have your feature played in a couple of seconds, okay? Is there any, like, key things that you want people to listen out for? Like, any specific quotes from anyone that you think really, like, stuck with you think people need to listen to?
What I would say is just listen to the feature and just form your own opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because there isn't any right or wrong answer, just about what you think.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to get into it right now. Get your opinions at us at Westside FM, but make sure you listen to this up next.
Rap is considered by many in the scene as a genius art form due to their lyrical ability and creativity. UK rapper Akala, through his Hip Hop Shakespeare company, challenges the notion that Shakespeare is considered as too highbrow for hip hop and introduces a fresh intake into how Shakespeare can be studied. And with the 2014 English pass rate falling for the first time in 20 years, according to The Guardian, perhaps this may be a suitable solution to engage students with the subject more.
Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
The paragon of animals and yet to me, what is this? Oh, I can't read that voice. That's alright.
Akal explains his reasons behind starting the Hip Hop Shakespeare company.
It's also about subverting the norms within a society. Shakespeare is hailed in many ways as the most kind of elite representation of rich white British culture. Growing up, I felt Wu-Tang's language, particularly more than any other hip hop group, Wu-Tang's language was this kind of archaic medieval English mixed with New York street slang, and as a youth I remember finding that amazing that they just throw a word like benevolent in the middle of a sentence about what's going on in the hood, right? And that to me was the most creative, poetic expression of language I'd ever heard at that point.
Trying to get a clutch of what I could not touch. The court play me short, now I face incarceration. Pacing, no one upstates my destination.
An example of rap being infused with Shakespeare is taken from Shakespeare's play Richard II. Here is Akala's version featuring rapper Bashi.
Being so great, I have no need to beg. This weighted halo rests heavy on a king's head.
And this is Shakespeare's version.
Your cares set up, do not pluck my cares down.
Akala also demonstrates the similarities between Shakespeare and rap lyrics to Hip Hop Shakespeare company audiences.
Sleep is the cousin of death. If you think it's hip hop, raise your hand. If you think it's Shakespeare, raise your hand. Anyone heard of Nasir Jones? Otherwise known as Nas. He said that.
And in the same way Shakespeare is studied in school, hip-hop journalist Lee Pinkerton argues that the lyrics of old-school rappers should also be studied in the national curriculum.
Yo, check it, 1 for Charlie Hustle, 2 for Steady Rock, 3 for the 4th coming live, Future Shock. It's 5 dimensions, 6 senses.
The art of MCing is almost a lost art now, because you used to have great lyricists like Rakim, KRS-One, Nas even. When I used to buy a Public Enemy album and you pull out the record and look at the sleeve and you'd read the lyrics, you'd have to read the lyrics to understand what Chuck D was talking about.
Controlling, be up high rolling, God bless your soul and keep living. Never allowed, kicking it loud, dropping a bomb, brain game, intellectual being. Now move as a team, never move alone. Well, welcome to the Terror Dome.
What does Rick Ross talk about that's worth analysing? He talks about how much money he spends. What does 50 talk about? Money.
I bury the most cash and burning the rest. Walking on the clouds, suspended in thin air. The ones beneath me recognize the red bottoms I wear.
Certain institutions in the US allow rap to be studied on an academic level. The question is whether the same should apply to the UK. Here's what hip-hop journalist Hattie Collins believes.
I'd love to see hip-hop taught as an academic subject because it's relevant. It's relevant to kids today. It's a way to understand the English language.
To a summer's day. Now what, my lovely, I'm a temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buzz of May.
Taylor, an English student, agrees with Hattie Collins.
Shakespeare is very complex for the young who aren't used to interpreting Shakespeare, especially with our generation's growing dialect, slang. Rap, hip-hop and music are more memorable and easier to interpret because of its upbeatness, therefore more engaging.
Some hip-hop artists, such as Wretch32, even visit schools to teach the literary forms displayed in their own lyrics.
It's like my peace of mind. Even when I'm in the dark, still gotta let me shine.
We've broken down some of my songs, and it's like kind of explain what the metaphors are and what the similes are and what the similarities are. Do we get the respect as much as Shakespeare? Probably not.
With hip-hop being a music genre that interests a large proportion of young people and Shakespeare being studied across the English curriculum, maybe it's time for rap to gain recognition as a genius art form and be studied alongside Shakespeare.
That was nice. So we're going to start off at the beginning, I guess, essentially. And your main, the first thing that was said was by Akala and said Shakespeare is too highbrow for hip hop. Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, so especially today, Shakespeare is viewed as this, really smart and intellectual, person that, when people look at his poems and they look at his playwrights, they think, oh wow, he's so smart and everyone studies Shakespeare and it's only the posh and the upper class people that are really into Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But Shakespeare, of course, he studied in the school curriculum. Secondary schools, they study him GCSE level.
Yeah.
You have to study Shakespeare in terms of, your English subject. And so that's really what Akala means.
Okay. I give you there was so your sort of main thing is questioning, are rappers intellectual? So we talk about using them in school. So are rappers intellectual and smart in terms of their literary terms and lyrical content? So I just want, do you have any examples of what you would consider a good example of intellectual or smart use of literary terms? Do you think to be classed as being literary, having good literary content, does it have to have similes and metaphors and stuff, or is it just what they're saying?
It's both.
Is that what matters?
It's both. For example, here we have, Rakim. He's an old school rapper, and one of his songs, The 18th Letter, and this is just a small paragraph.
Yeah.
And he says, rip shows, stay focused and split cheese with soldiers while you hit trees and coast. I spit flows that be ferocious. And even just that, those two lines there, you can see that the imagery, it kind of forms an idea into your mind. And the use of alliteration, the S words, the hissing sounds. So
they're called sibilants.
Yes, yes, sibilants. So even that, it's amazing. Then a word like ferocious, that perhaps maybe people in in secondary school in year 7, or not every student,
Yeah.
but that might be a new word that certain students and certain young people might look up and be like, oh wow, okay, what does that mean?
So Lee Pinkerton said how old school rappers should be included in like analysis of their lyrics should be included in the national school syllabus. Okay, now should it just be old school rappers, do you think, or should it be just rappers in general?
Well, I think the argument that Lee Pinkerton was trying to make was that, rappers today, there's nothing, he thought that there's nothing worth analysing because all they talk about is money and the bling and the cars and the girls.
The Voice.
The whole reason why they want to incorporate hip-hop into the curriculum is because it's become such a relevant thing. Like the girl was saying, sorry I didn't catch her name, like she was saying, it's become like slang has become a way of like part of our language. It's what we use every day.
The Voice.
Are rappers or their lyrics more similar to Shakespeare's lines than we think?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say a line. It could be either from a hip-hop artist or from Shakespeare. And people in the studio and even those that are at home wherever they are listening can actually just tune in and just tweet me or tweet us and just come up with what they think, whether it's hip-hop, if it's a hip-hop artist or if it's Shakespeare. So the first one is you've been merciful and your love endureth. So is that from a hip-hop artist or is it from Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
No, it's hip-hop.
No way.
It's who?
No way.
It's Jay-Z. It's Jay-Z.
I think got that from the Bible, I don't care.
So the next one is men would rather use their broken weapons than their bare hands.
Hip hop.
Shakespeare.
The Bible.
It is a Shakespeare.
I'm getting
Westside.
Shout out to Hetty for coming in.
Westside.